Hello everyone, my name is Kumar and welcome back to my channel Kumar Programming. Today I am going to create a crash course in HTML which is specifically designed for the beginners. Whether you are totally new to the web development or just looking to refresh your skill, then you are at the right place, right? So HTML is the very first step of building website, and I'm sure that at the end of this video you would be having a very solid foundation about HTML and you would be able to create your own web pages. However, it required CSS and JavaScript also to complete a designed and functional web page, but we will cover CSS and JavaScript right after this session. And this session would be more oriented with the practical step-by-step guide, and I'll walk you through everything that you need to know to create a basic web page from scratch. And we will cover almost everything in HTML, okay? And also, don't worry if it feel a little intimidating. I'll keep everything simple and explain each part along the way. So what all you need, a code editor and a browser. That's it. I'm using in my case Visual Studio Code and Chrome browser. And you can use any code editor like Sublime, IntelliJ, whatever you want, right? And if you are excited to learn, don't forget to hit the like button, and you are ready for more web development tutorials, consider subscribing my channel, right? So let's have a cup of coffee and start learning. Now let's have some basic about the HTML. HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language, right? Easy to understand. H hyper T text M markup L language, right? HTML is a standard language used to create web pages. So whatever the website we have, each website is being created in HTML only, right? HTML describes the structure of the web page. Shortly, I'll discuss about the structure of the HTML. And HTML consists a series of elements. Like our whole body is having different type of body parts, right? Head, body, hand, mouth, nose. Similarly, HTML is also having elements. And HTML element tell to the browser that how to display that content. And HTML element tag defines such as this is heading, this is paragraph, this is link, right? And also this HTML is managed by W3C, the World Wide Web Consortium, and they are making all these standards to use worldwide, right? Sometime interviewer asks this, who manage the HTML standards? So the answer is W3C. Now let's understand these things with the example. Here we have our body, right? Inside our body, we have our head and body. And head also having a lot of elements. Elements like ear, nose, eyes, mouth, head, right? And in the body, we have a lot of elements like hand, leg, fingers, arms, shoulders, chest, stomach, right? So these all are the elements of body. And eyes, nose, ears, those all are the elements of head, and the whole body is considered as a HTML page, right? And similarly, if I would show you here, we have the structure of the HTML, right? So if you see here, this is the complete HTML, right? So now let's understand the HTML structure. So here, if you see, this is my complete HTML, okay? And inside the HTML, I have head, right? And this is my head and this is my body, right? So this HTML is our complete body, and inside the body we have head and body, right? And inside our head and body we have several elements. Similarly, here we have inside head like title, and body we have like heading, paragraph, a lot of elements which display on the pages. Understood? And here if you see this doc type, this doc type is nothing, this define this is a HTML document type, and this HTML shows that we are using HTML5, okay? That is the latest version of HTML. Clear? So this is our HTML, and inside HTML we have head and body, right? And if you see here, we have each and every tag, we have opening and closing tag. So here if you see, this is my HTML tag, and if you see here we have a angle bracket, and here we have angle bracket with the forward slash. So this is our closing tag, and similarly we have a opening tag for head and body as well, right? And inside head and body we have several elements, right? And those elements are like heading, paragraphs, links, like images, list, a lot of things that we are going to cover. So now we will see that what kind of elements that we can cover inside our head and body, right? Now let's see. So we are going to learn about the elements like heading, line break, comment, horizontal line, link, paragraph, formatted text. This is very, very important. List, table, input types. How many type of inputs that we can give from our HTML page, right? And further, we are going to learn about forms, how we can design our forms, and how we can add image, how we can use iframe, right? And how we can add audio, video, address, navigation, right? And how we can utilize our image map and what all the HTML entities are there and how we can add emojis to our web pages, right? And further we are going to understand that what is the block level and inline level element, right? And we will see how we can add the code block, and also we will see the differences between semantic tag and non-semantic tag. And we will learn about how we can add the meta, how we can add the icon link to our pages, and eventually we are going to understand that what is difference between HTML and XHTML, right? This is extended hypertext markup language. So we'll see the differences, and at the end of this video, we are going to have a quiz of 40 questions, right? And we will review our answers online. Okay. Now let's deep dive into the practical and open our Visual Studio Code and a browser. Well, now ready to start, right? So, but before start, let me do some configuration. So here I have created a folder, learn HTML, CSS, JavaScript, right? And inside this folder, I'm going to create one more folder as course, because we are going to have 3 courses, right? So courses, and inside these courses I'm going to create 3 more folders like HTML, CSS and JavaScript, right? So here I'll give HTML and CSS and JavaScript, right? Now inside HTML I'll create a file index.html, right? So remember that our HTML file extension is, see here, this HTML index.html. So extension is .html. Even if we write .htm, that is also fine. Even we write .xhtml, that is also fine. Okay. So we have 3 extension, .htm, .html and .xhtml. That is extended hypertext markup language. That I'll tell you later on. Okay. But for now, let's go with the standard .html. Okay. Now inside, let me make it a bit bigger. So yeah, I hope this will be visible to all of you now, right? So I told you that HTML is having mainly a tag HTML, right? See this HTML, and how we can write that? Just type HTML and then tab. Okay, got it? Now inside HTML we have 2 things, head and body. So now type head, this is my head, and now type body, right? And this is my body. So this is our complete HTML structure. Inside we have HTML, and inside HTML we have head, and then we have body, right? Now at the right side, if you see, and if you see in the browser, this is our HTML head, browser head, right? So whatever the configuration that we are putting in head part, it's going to come over here in the head, and this is our body, right? This is our whole body, right? And in order to generate this file automatically, we have a template. So let me just remove this completely and just press exclamation sign. If you press exclamation sign, you will get the template. Okay. Now just press enter. Automatically, it will create a template for you for HTML5. Why I'm saying HTML5? Because here we have given, if you see here, we have given HTML tag inside our doc type, right? And if you see here, this is my HTML tag, and inside HTML tag we have head and we have body, right? See, this is our complete HTML, and inside this HTML we have head and we have, and inside head, for now just forget about these meta because I'm going to explain you later on. But for now, see, this is the title. This title is being defined inside the head. Okay, for now let me just remove this meta because I'm going to explain you later on. So now you understood about the structure, right? We have our HTML, we have our head, and inside head we have several elements, and we have our body, and inside body we have our several elements, right? Now we will understand about all those elements which are being configured inside our head and inside our body, right? Is that clear so far? Okay, great. Now I'll do the changes over here, and that will be reflected inside our browser, right? So I'll run this index.html inside my browser. So how can I do that? So if I just type here h1 tag. This is h1 heading. Okay. And one more thing, once I'll do these changes, every time I have to refresh my browser. So I don't want to do that refresh every time. So what I'll do, I'll just add a plugin over here, extension as a live server, right? This is the plugin which already I have installed. If you have not installed, just install this plugin at your side, install this. And once you'll be able to install, then after that, you would be able to see at the very bottom here, see go live, right? Click here to run the live server. So you have to just click on this live server. It's going to start and it's going to run on the port. So see here, now it's running to our port 5500, right? See here, this is running to our port 5500. And this is our H1 heading. Okay. So every time whenever I'll do the changes here in my code, it's going to be reflected immediately. So now see here, I'll just type heading 1. So it's going to be reflected immediately over here as well. Okay. So I'll save my time, right? Otherwise I have to do every time go to the browser and refresh it, right? After each and every changes over here in our HTML file. So headings are essential for structuring content. Think about like you have a book and book is having a title, right? And they're having the chapters. So its heading is organizing the content in a hierarchical order, right? And we have 6 level of heading, right? This is one level of heading, H1, and we have 6 level of heading, right? So let me just, this would be H2, it would be H3, H4, H5, and H6, right? And you are seeing the, at the right side, you are seeing the differences. The highest in size is heading 1, right? See, this is the heading 1 and which is having the highest in size, right? And heading 6 is having lowest in size. So here I'll write 1, 2, and 3, 4, 5, and 6. So there are 6 level of heading, H1, H2, H3, H4, H5, H6, right? There's no H7. Okay, got it? So this is all we have about the heading. Now let's understood that how we can make the line break, right? So here I'll mark it as a heading and I'll comment it. We will learn how to comment very shortly, but yeah, now let's move for the line break. So here I'll mark it as a line break, right? And how we can do the line break, just if we do br, and it's going to give you a line break. Like suppose that I want to give a line break in between h1 and h2, right? So what I'll do, I'll just put this line break here. So it's, see here, now it's having a line break in between heading 1 and heading 2. Got it? So if you want to do the line break, you just have to use the br tag. Okay, now the next one we will see how we can give the horizontal line, right? So in order to give the horizontal line, we just have a simply hr. Okay, hr tag. So hr tag is going to give a horizontal line. See here at the very right side, we are seeing a horizontal line, right? So this is horizontal line, right? And how we can do the comment. Okay, so it's very simple. If you want to do comment, so this is my comment, right? And how we can do the comment, simply control and forward slash, it's going to be commented. And the syntax for comment is just you have to give tag, exclamation sign, and hyphen hyphen. Okay, and at the very end it's going to be closed with hyphen hyphen tag. Okay, so this is the syntax for giving a comment on HTML file, right? So in this way, we are going to learn all of our element tags for HTML, right? So now let me just do a bit formatting over here. So what I'll do here, I'll just give a horizontal line for line break. So at least we can clearly see that this is my line break, and I'll give this heading and I'll mark it as a line break. Okay, right? Now here we can see this is for my line break and this is for my horizontal line, and I'll give this for horizontal line, right? So now this is my line break and this is my horizontal line. Now let's further move how to write a comment. So I'll give this a comment. I'm just giving a title, so here we can easily identify what what element that we are learning, right? And I'll mark it as a comment. Okay, and again after that I'll give a horizontal line. Got it? And here we line break, we don't have here line break, so let's give a line break. right? Line break. So now here you see there is a gap, right? And that gap is for coming from line break. Okay. So far we have learned about heading, how to give the line break, how to create a horizontal line, and how to write our comment. This comment is not going to visible inside your browser. This is just for the reference in HTML file only for us to understand the code, right? Okay. Now the next thing that we are going to learn is paragraph. Okay. So paragraph is very simple. Just you have to type a tag as a P, right? And tab. So it's going to create a paragraph over here. Okay. So here I'll just put it as a this is my paragraph, right? Now here you can see this is my paragraph. Okay. And I will give the same here paragraph, right? Okay. We can have as many as paragraph that we want. So if you want to just create multiple paragraph, see here we can create a multiple paragraph. Okay. And if you want to, and in this paragraph, we can have a huge content, right? So if you want to have a huge content, so we are going to use this our lorem ipsum, right? See now, and this lorem ipsum is nothing, this is just a template we have in order to have our add content inside our browser just for the testing while doing our development, right? So we can add one more lorem ipsum here, right? So now we have more content. So in this way we can write our paragraph. Okay, got it? I think it's very simple. Now we are going to learn about the formatted text, right? So formatted text is nothing, it's just whatever the things that we have written over here in paragraph, we just have to make it bold, we just have to make it italic, we just have to make it small, right? We can make it strong, we can emphasize, all those things are there that we can do for our text. Okay, so I'll do quickly here. I'll just put it as one more here, formatted text, right? Formatted text, formatted. Okay, right, and I'll put it over here inside heading so we can see it here, right? Now let me tell you that how many type of formatted text we have. So here the very first one which we have, the bold one. Okay, so how we can do the bold, I'll use this bold. Okay, so now if you see here, this is bold text. Okay, so in order to do the bold, we just have to use this B tag. Okay, if we just put B, this text is going to be bold, right? So you are able to see here, right? This is our bold, and we have written inside our paragraph. Okay, so inside our paragraph, anywhere if you want to make any content as a bold, we can just wrap around a B tag. Okay, and that content is going to be a bold. Okay, now we will put some strong. So here the next one is strong. Okay, this text is strong. Now if you see, sorry, this is strong, right? So now you see both of the contents is in bold, this text is bold and this text is strong. Both are in bold, but still this is having more importance than bold one. Okay, so whenever you want to put some more importance on a text, you should put inside a strong tag. Okay, otherwise simply you can just put inside a bold tag, B tag. Okay, the very next one which we have, italic. Okay, so now let's do with the italic. So here for the italic, we just have to press I tag, right? And this text is italic, right? Italic. Now if you see, this text is italic. Okay, and now the next tag, which is emphasize. Okay, emphasize, and also emphasized. Okay, so this text is emphasized. And here also, if sometime we have to give some title like the Ganga, the mountain, we are emphasizing some word, some title, right? So whenever we are emphasizing, we can just use the emphasized em tag, right? Otherwise we can just simply use the italic I tag, right? I mean, like, both in look like same, but both are having a different meaning. One is for simple, that just we have for the italic, right? Like someone saying things, right? And emphasized is something that we are using title, right, which you are emphasizing a particular word. Okay, understood? Now it's all are very simple, just we have to keep everything in our mind. Okay, now if we want to highlight some of the word, right, so how we can highlight, it's very simple. Like, this is highlighted, and for the highlight we just have to mark, simply mark. Okay, so now if you see, this text is highlighted. Got it? So mark is being used to highlight any text whenever we are using it on HTML. Okay, Now the next thing is, it's very simple. Small. Okay, so small is nothing, it's just make your content smaller than the actual size. Okay, small. Okay, so now if you see, this is small text. Now if you see here, if you see, now relatively this size is smaller than the other size what we have as of now, right? So if you want to make content a bit smaller from the your normal content size, then you have to use small. Okay, and sometime you have to remove some of the keywords. Okay, you have to just remove some of the text from your element, but actually you don't want to delete it, you want to show that content to the user. Like you have a price for a shirt around 21 pounds, right? And after some time it's going to be after discount you are going to have some 18 pounds, right? So you have to show that 21 pounds but in a strike format, right? So how you can do that? So we have an option here like del. If you want to just del, this is deleted text, right? So now if you see, this is deleted text, this text has been striked out, right? And if you want to insert, then we have a insert tag as well, ins. Okay, now this is inserted, and whenever the things are inserted it's going to be underlined. See here, this text is underlined. Okay, and this text is striked out. So this is deleted and this is inserted, right? Let's see this inserted. Okay, so far so good, right? Now let's see how can we subscript and superscript. So there is a tag as a sub and super. So let's see how we can do that. Suppose that you want to write H2O, right? You are writing some chemistry formula and you have to write H2O. So how you can write in your HTML, right? So there is an option we have subscript like let me just make another line here, sub, and I will write H, and outside of this subscripted tag is O, right? And in this subscripted tag I'll give 2. Okay, so now if you see at the right side, see here, now we have the formula as a H2O, right? This 2 is subscripted, okay, inside our H and O letter. Got it? And similarly, sometime we have to show the square. If you are writing some mathematics formula and you have to show square, so how can you do that? You can do by superscript, right? So here we have super, S-U-P, okay? And like here you have to x square, right? So see here, now x square equal to 4. See, now we have to write the formula like x square equal to 4. So we can achieve by superscript, right? This superscript and subscript, right? Understood? Now, next thing we are going to learn that how we can quote our text. Okay, suppose that someone's saying like Kumar programming goal is to learning programming in a easy way. Okay, so how we can do that? Just with the Q tag. Okay, if you just put the Q tag, it's going to be inside the code. Okay, so now if you see here I have given a Q tag, Q learning programming in easy way. So see here, this learning programming in easy way is coming with a code. This is my opening code and this is my closing code, right? So in this way we can give our code. Now let's see the next one, which is how we can abbreviate things, right? Suppose that we have WWF, right? WHO, World Health Organization, right? So how we can do that? So let me just quickly show you. If you want to give some abbreviation, right? So now if you see here, this ABBR, right? This is used for abbreviation. If you want to abbreviate any word, okay, keyword. So if you see, this WHO is abbreviated here, World Health Organization. And if you just hover on it, you will be able to see World Health Organization. See here we are able to see World Health Organization. But abbreviated word you will see with the dotted underline. Okay, so this is how we can use the abbreviation. Now we can use the site, and site is nothing. The site is simply if you want to show something like if you want to give some book name or some, if you are giving some title, in that case you can use the site. Okay, so now let's see here. It's a very simple example. One of my favorite book is The Great Gatsby, okay, by F. Scott Fitzgerald. Okay, so if you see here, this the Great Gatsby is a book name, right? And if you want to give this as a site, so see here, this the Great Gatsby is coming in a underline, right? But this is representing, this is something, a title of a book, right? Got it? Now let's have another formatted text, which is a BDO, right? Bidirectional override. So bidirectional override is simply that you can use the text from right to left and left to right. You know that in our Urdu, we have to, in some of the languages, like not Urdu only, but some of the languages where we have to write from right to left. Okay. So if you see this, so here I have used BDO, bidirectional override, and direction I have given here R2L. R2L means, RTL means right to left. Okay, we can give left to right as well, but that would be our simple text only. But in order to give direction from right to left, we have to give this direction right to left over here. Okay, so what will happen? This BDO formatted text is going to come from right to left. So see here, this text is coming from right to left printed. This text, right? See here, this all whole text is written inside right to left. Okay, in this direction. Got it? Now the next thing we are going to understood about the span. Span is one of the element that which we write to text. If you want to put some design on text, then we use span. So now let's see how we can use the span. So here now if you see here, my son has blue eyes, and blue is given inside a span. Okay, I'll discuss about this styling and all later on in our, once I'll have our session with the CSS. I just want to more focus on the HTML part for now, so you'd be able to understand the entire elements in HTML. After that, I'll come to the styling part. Okay, but for these things I specific, just I would like to say you that we can have a styling on span, like style equal to color blue. If you're not understanding as of now, just leave it. Okay, so now if you see here at the very right side, this side, let a bit bigger. So now here, see, this is coming as a blue, right? I don't know if it is being recognized by you in the screen or not, but this is blue. Okay, right? Okay, fine. So now so this is all we have about the formatted text. Okay, this is the all the types. If you just know the tag, you can do the formatting of all your text. Okay, now the next thing that we are going to learn about list. Okay, so now the next thing is list. So the next thing that we are going to learn about list. Okay, list. I'm giving this h1 tag everywhere here, so we can just easily recognize that what we have learned. This is formatted text, this is paragraph, this is comment. However, comment we cannot see on the HTML because that is the commented. How we give the horizontal line, how we give the line break, and how we give the heading. Okay, so this is just a title for each and every element. Okay, now we have to understood about the list. So list, there are two type of list. One is ordered list and one is unordered list. Okay, so let's understood about the unordered list first. Okay, so unordered list is just ULLI. Okay, unordered list, and inside unordered list we have to give the listing. So listing can be given as a li. Okay, so this is first I'll give the second item and third item. If you want to just create a new line from the existing one, just shift alt and down arrow. Okay, it's going to create the same line. Now here second, and here I'll use third. Okay, second, and here I'll use third, right? So now if you see here, this is my listing, and I'll give a header tag over here as a listing, and this is my list. Got it? Now if you see, this is my unordered list because we have not given over here number, right? So it's just first, second, and third. Okay, now the next thing, how we can give the ordered list, okay, with the number. So there is another way. Now let me just quickly write it over here. This is my ordered list. Ordered list is being represented with OL. Okay, and unordered list with ULLI, and ordered list with OLLI. Okay, and if you want to give the number, you can just give as a type n. Type n, if we give over here, it's going to printed inside list 1 2 3. Okay, so see here, this is my list, and which is printed in 1 2 3. Okay, right? And if you want to have a italic format, if we can just give I, so it's going to write the number in italic format like I to second and third. Got it? So this is my ordered list. Now let me just write here unordered list. right? So this is my unordered list and this is my ordered list. Okay, got it? I hope that this is getting clear so far. Now we will understood about the table, how we can create a table inside HTML. Okay, so I'll just create here one more heading for table. Okay, right? So this is my table, right? And here we have our header and here we have our footer, right? This is my footer, and inside header and footer we have row, right? So row I'll give in orange line. See, this is my row. Okay, so I have here 4 row. Okay, row 1 2 3, and we have column, right? So column I'll give blue. So here we have one column, here we have second column, here we have third column, and here we have fourth and fifth column, right? So this is my, and if you see, this is my header, right? And these all four are rows, and this is my footer. Okay, so how we can design this in HTML? So in HTML, simply we have tag as a table tag. Inside table we will give our head, right? We will give our head, t foot as a t footer, and t body as a body, right? And inside this body we will give tr as a row, and inside each and every tr we will give the td is for each and every cell. Okay, so now let's see how we can do that here. I'll just quickly use this template here. Now if you see this, now you can see here, now we are seeing this table as a header, and this is my rows and this is my footer. Okay, so let me just explain you that. Let me quickly remove this footer, okay, for now. Comment it. Okay, so now you can see header and body. Okay, so this is my table. Let's understand. This is my table, this is my header, and inside header we have rows, right? We have one row, right? And inside row we have th is nothing, this is a header for the table cell. Okay, and then after that we have our body. See here, this is our complete body, and inside body we can have the multiple row, right? So this is my one row, this is my second row, and this is my third row, and each and every row are having td, right? So each row, because we have three columns, right? Here we see name, class, and roll number. We have three column inside header, so inside our body we should be having three column, right? And all columns are being defined with the td, right? So now here see, this is my complete table, right? And this is my header, right? This is my header, and in header we have a one row, and each and every row are having column, right? So this row is having three column, and similarly we have in body we have three rows, right? One two three rows, and each row are having their own td, their cell. Okay, is that clear? It's very simple, right? Isn't it? Now let's understood about the footer. See here, we have the footer. Let me uncomment it now. We have only one row, right? And we have here 3 TD in footer also. And if you see in the first cell, I have written total, and TD I have given 20 pound, and this is our blank cell. Okay, so in the, if you see in the third cell there is nothing. This is our blank cell, but the other two cells are having the value, right? So this is my footer, and this is my first cell, and this is my second cell, and third cell is blank. Okay, so in this way we can design a table inside our HTML. Now the next thing we are going to learn about how many type of input types we have, right? So I'll give one more here, and I'll mark it as a input type. Okay, now here I'll note down all the tags, input tags, right? So see, this is my all the input tags. Okay, I'll explain one by one. So the very first one we have input, right? This input, and for all these inputs we have tag as an input only, but we have a different type. So if you see here, this is we have a type text, password, number, email, search, telephone, URL, checkbox, radio, right? So all these are different type of inputs, but each tag is defined inside a input tag only. Okay, so the very first one which we have text. So if you see here, if we just want to put some text box, then we can just use as a input type equal to text, right? If you see here, Kumar, right? This is a type of text. And if we have a type of password, then here WORD password, right? So we have to put here as a type as a password. See here, the type is password, right? And if you want to put type as a number, then we have to put type as a number over here, right? This is my number, and we would be able to type only number here, right? If you want to type any other character, it won't allow to us to type any other character instead of number. Okay, right. Now the next thing we have email. We can use text for email, but we have separate type as a email, so we should be using email whenever we are using our email, right? And whenever we are using any search kind of things, see here, this is my search input type, right? And here if I enter anything, at the very right side we have a clear button. Once I'll click on this, all the content in the search box will be clear automatically. Okay, and we don't have to write any code for that, see, right? And for the telephone, any number, telephone number, we have a separate input type as a tel, telephone, right? So if we have any telephone number, we should be using this tel type, right? The other thing we have type as a URL. If you are providing any kind of URL, then we should be using type URL. Okay, that's a standard provided by HTML. The next one which we have checkbox. If we have checkbox kind of things like selection, then we have to use this checkbox type, right? And see here we can perform the action like check, uncheck. Okay, and if we have some kind of radio, then we have to use this type as a radio, right? See here, this is my radio, and we can perform action on this, right? Now the next input type which we have is file input type. File input type, sometime we require to upload file to the server, right? We need to upload the document, we need to upload the image. So in that case, we need to use type equal to file, right? So this is my type equal to file. Okay, see here, this is my, and I can choose the file from here. See, suppose that I want to choose the file, I can use, suppose that I'm going to use this spread versus rest. Okay, so I can, if you see here, now spread versus rest.jpg is already selected over here, right? Now come to the next input type, which is date. Okay, so if you want to select any date, you have to use this as a date input type. Okay, so now if you see at the right side, if you want to select any date, I can select any date from the calendar. Okay, see, now this is being selected. Got it? So this is my 2nd of January 2025. Similarly, if we have to select week, so we have an option as an input type as a week. We can select the week as well. So see at the right side here, we can select the week. This is my 46th week of the year, right? So we can select the whole week. This is week 46 of 2024, right? Similarly, we can select our month as well, right? So see, if you want to select the month, here we have to use our input type as a month, and here we can select month November 2024, right? And if you want to select the date and time, right, without date time local, without the time zone, so here we can use our date time local. So here this is our 14th and timing is 1970s, right? So this is my date and time by using our date time local here. See here, I'm using my input type as a date time local, right? And if you want to just use the time, okay, we don't want the other field, then we have to use time as a type, and here we can select our time, right? See, 1816. So here we can select our time, right? So these all 4 type which we have, like date, week, month, date time, and date time local, and time for specifically to select date and time. Okay, now let's further move, and the next type which we have is color. Okay, so this color is basically used to select the specific color. Okay, so this is the color input, and if you just click on here, we can select any color. See, this color is being selected, and we can get the RGB value, right? This is red, this is green, and this is blue value. Here we can get it. Okay, and we have one more input type which is very important, that is a hidden input type. It is very important because sometimes we don't want to see this to the user, but we want to store some important information inside our input, right? So in that case, we can use this input type hidden, right? So you can see here, we are not able to see this input type hidden here, anything, but there is a specific input type which is type of hidden, right, which is used to store some important information, but that should not be visible to the user. Okay, now the next thing which we have, range. So see here, this is for our range input. Okay, and now here we can see this is my range. Okay, we can provide the range. Now the next thing we are going to talk about the button. Okay, so button, there are mainly 3 type of button we have. one is simple button, one is submit type button, and one is reset type button, right? If you see the button is very simple, right? If you want to perform some alert or something like that, we are going to use the simple button. Okay, if you are using any form, right, and we have to submit the form, we have to post the form to the server along with all the input value from the form, then in that case we should be using our submit input type, right? This submit input type is going to perform a post action to the server. Okay, so in that case we have to use submit, right? And there is third type of button which is reset, and reset button is nothing, this is just used to reset the all the values in the form, right? Whatever the value that we have selected in the form, we just click on the reset, everything is going to be reset automatically. Okay, we don't have to write any code for that. Got it? Great. So I hope this is getting clear to you. So far so good, right? So it's quite easy, right? All those things like input type, we have learned about tables, list, ordered list, unordered list, formatted text, paragraph, comment, horizontal line, line break, heading. It's quite easy, right? If you just try to give a little bit focus on each and everything, it's self-explanatory, right? Okay, now let's further move and we will learn the new things which is form, right? This is very, very important because each and every websites are having their own forms where we have to put some information and user post those information to the server, they can save all those information to our database, right? So how we can design our form? So now let's, here I'll give form, one more horizontal line for form, and what is this? This is my form, right? Great. So here we have our form. Now we will learn about form tag. So there is a tag is known as a form, simple. Okay, form tag, just type form and enter, right? And one more thing that I forgot to explain over here, if you see this input tag, right, input tag is not having anything inside, right? So we can just close this tag here only, and we should not write like something input and then close it, right? We can just forward slash and mark it as a angle bracket, and it is going to be closed, right? So in this way also we can have a closing bracket. Okay, and if you see here in the form cannot write like this, right? Because form is having something inside it, right? So we are going to have a lot of content inside the form, so we cannot close our form tag in this way. Okay, this is wrong. Okay, now so we have to close in this form, so we have to close in this way. Now let me quickly enter some of the element inside our form and I'll explain. This is whole my form. I tried to put all the type of elements so you would be able to understand all the types. Now let's start. Okay, so now if you see here, my form is being generated. See, this is my form here. See, this is my form. First name, last name, password, age, is a type of student or not. It's a gender, male or female, right? Radio button selection. This is type of, this is something like meter. And after that, we have a date selection. We have color. We have file. We have select. This is known as a select element, right? And we have text area. This is something different from the input type text. This is text area. We have reset button and submit button. So this is my whole form. And now if you quickly see here, this is my form generated. And label, if you see here, I have given this first name as a label. So if you want to give any input control, you have to provide a label for that input, right? For what it is being defined by that particular label. So that input is getting defined by that label, right? So this is my input text first name. So this is my input text as a first name, right? And it is being defined by this label. Okay, and if you see this for is giving as a first name, and we can give all the input type are having their id attribute. So this, if you see here, this id is nothing, this is an attribute of this input type, and this type also is an attribute of input type. So this is type of text and id is first name, and this label is belonging to this input first name, right? Simple. And similarly we can do for the, this is for last name, and here we have password. Here this is for, we have for number, and here we have for checkbox, right? Which is already we have discussed in our input types. And here we have our radio, right? And then after that, this is something new which is known as a meter, right? This is not input. If you see here, this is meter. If you want to create a meter kind of things, see here, then you have to put a meter tag. Okay, and inside this meter tag we can just provide some value 0.6, so it's only 60% is filled, right? So this is a meter. If you want to provide meter kind of things, some value, so we can just use like this, right? We have date picker over here. See this, so this is my date picker, right? And further we have our color, so this is my color, right? And here we can have our color picker. We can just select our whatever color we want, we can get it from here, right? And after that we have our submit your file, right, which already we have discussed. Now we have to see the new things, which is select. If you see here, this is select. So whenever we have a selection kind of things, we have to select the from a drop down list, right? So here we have, see, we have here we have a value, choose a car like Volvo, Suzuki, Mercedes, Audi, right? So these all are the selection. We can select any one out of them, right? So here we can select Suzuki, right? Now the next thing, which is our description, right? So this is my text area. Now we can write anything over here. This is my text area, and this can be customized. If you want to make it a bigger, you can make it a bigger, and if you want to make a smaller, you can make it a smaller, right? Is that clear? But this is something different. This is not the input type text. This is something text area. See, this is text area tag we have, right? And if you see about this selection, I forgot to mention about this option. All these options are going to be defined inside our option tag under select. Okay, is that clear? Okay, fine. Now we are going to understand about the button, right? Already we discussed about, we have three type of button: reset button, submit button, and third one, which is a simple button, right? So here we have reset button. Suppose that here I have given age as a 23, password something I have written, and last name I have written, first name I have written, right? If I just click on the reset, all the values are going to be reset. See, now if I click on reset, see, all the values have been gone from here, right? And I was already having this is a text area. If you see here, already I was having a value over here. This is a text area, so it's being replaced with the original value. See here, I updated and reset, it's going to be updated, right? So in this way we have to create our form. And if you have submit, now let me submit the value. Now let me put some age, password, last name, let me just put some name here, programming, and first name I'll give as a Kumar, right? Here I'll select gender, student, and as soon as I'll click on submit button, the form is going to be submit. So quickly see here, I mean, like, once I'll submit it, just see here, this is going to be submitted as a post. Okay, see here, this got refreshed, and now if you see, the URL is being changed. Let me make it bigger. Now if you see the URL, all the values, right, all the values are being posted through the query parameters. Okay, got it? That we are going to learn about once we will learn about the JavaScript, how we can post all the values to the server, all the action we will perform in JavaScript. But for now we are just focusing on the all the elements in HTML. Okay, now let's minimize it. And also we are going to learn about the validation in our JavaScript. We know that, right? We have to validate our each and every field inside our form, right? That we will learn about validation in our JavaScript section. Okay, now further see, now the very important thing that we are going to learn is image. Okay, so the image, let me add some image over here. Okay, inside HTML I'll create one more folder as a assets, and inside assets I'm going to have a image. Okay, now let me paste here one image, right? So I have image over here, right? And I want to show this image asset inside our my HTML file. So how we can do that? So now let's move to our index.html file, and here I'll use this image heading, right? And now how we can add the image? So there is a tag, a specific tag for image, which is img, right? Just type img. So img is having two things. The first one source, and second one is alternate, right? So if suppose that image is not there, then what the text will be appeared on the screen, right? So here source, we have to define the source. So source, we know that we have our asset folder, right? Assets and image. So this is the path for our image. And alt, this is something that I can see like my table. Okay, now if you see here, I'm able to see this table image. And suppose that if this I have given image 1. So this image is not going to be displayed there, right? So see, this image is not getting displayed, but alternate, whatever the alternative is there, it's getting displayed over here, right? So that's why we give this alt value for the image, right? So now we have image. Now here we are, our image is getting displayed. It's very simple, right? Great. So now further we are going to learn about iframe. Iframe is something that whenever we want to use some kind of link, like we want to show a Google link, or we want to show some websites inside our application, right? We want to show some kind of a link, like YouTube link inside our website, right? So in that case we have to use iframe, right? So I'm going to use a iframe over here, and very simple it is. Let me just give one more header over here as a iframe, right? And here I'll give as comment as image, so it will be clear for you next time once you will come and see this. And here I'll give iframe. Okay, so iframe, we just have to simply iframe, use the iframe tag, iframe, right? And here we can provide our source. So already I'm having one of my YouTube video for the JavaScript interview question, so I'm going to use the same link over here. So now it's going to be displayed. See here, I'm able to see this iframe over here, right? Now here you can see this is my iframe, and inside iframe I have loaded this my YouTube video, right? And we can play whatever the things that we do, YouTube, the same thing that we can do it over here as well. Okay, good. And now the very interesting thing that we are going to learn, how we can add audio and video, right? So let me just add one audio and video in my asset folder. So let me just paste it. I have already this is my audio. If you see audio.mp4, and this is my video. And now this audio and video I'm going to display in my HTML file, right? So let's go back to our index.html file, and here we are going to have as a audio, right? It's very simple, audio, that's it. And you have to provide the path for audio, and here I'll give the path dot, this is my current directory after we have assets, and then we have our audio file, right? That's it. So now we would be able to see our audio here, and inside audio we have to give control, so we would be able to see our control as well. So here is one attribute, control, right? So if we give the control, then after that we would be able to see the control details. Here it's not control, it's controls. Okay, so now let's see here. Now we are able to see our this audio file, and here we can play all the control we have. Now see, I can play now, right? And here we have sound control, here we have download, playback speed, all those things that we can configure. So this is how we can add our audio. Here I'll mark it as audio, right? Fine. Now we will see how we can add video. So it's very simple. I'll just audio, and now here I'll mention as a video. Okay, this would be video, and the tag which we have is video, simple video, video, right? Perfect. And here we have to give path. So I have the path here, my current directory dot, and inside current directory I have assets, right? And assets we have video dot mp4 file, right? And here we have to provide controls, so we can get all the controls, right? Controls. Now if you see here, we can see our video, but this size is, if you see, I can see here my video, but the size is relatively very high. So let's give the size attribute over here. I'll give height as here height, and height I'll give around 400 pixel. Okay, and width also I'll give as a 500 pixel. Okay, that's fine. Now we would be able to see, still it's very big. Now I have give 200 as a height, and width as 300. Okay, so this would be fine, I believe now. Yeah, so now if you can see, this is my video element, right? And here I can see my video. This is the video, and we can see this video in our HTML. If you want to add this video, we can add it over here, right? And if you want to add our any other videos, like somewhere from the link, then we can provide those links over here in the source attribute. Okay, is that clear? it's not, I mean, like, it's just you should be knowing about the tag and everything would be very, very simple, right? Now the very next thing that which we are going to learn is address tag. Okay, so let me just give a address tag over here. This address, why this horizontal line is here, remove this. Okay, now how we can write our address, right? If you have seen, most of the websites are having address detail, right? So if you want to address, there is a separate tag address. Okay, just give address, and inside address, whatever the things that you want you can write, like here Kumar programming, and here I can write like 35 Zuan Kepler, right? And here I can write UK. Okay, so this is my address, and here I can give my postcode as like 8YT67. Okay, right? So this is my address, and if you see here, see how it look like. And if you want to give the multiple line, then we have to give here a break, line break. I told you, right? We can give a line break. See, now we have to give a line break here and line break here, so we can see our address in a multiple line. See, now I can see address in the multiple line, right? I hope this is getting clear, and it's quite easy, isn't it? Now let's move and with the next element, which is navigation. Okay, so here I'll add one more tag as a navigation. This is for navigation, right? Now how we can add the navigation is something like, the in the header we have some of the links, right? And once we are clicking on those links, it's going to the different web pages, right? So similarly here we have a tag as a nav tag. Okay, navigation tag, right? That's it. And inside the navigation tag we have to define anchor is nothing, this is something link. Okay, anchor tag is used to define a link. Okay, so here a and tab. Okay, so now it's going to be give you a anchor tag with the href, and here in the href you can just give your link, right? So as of now we don't have any other page here, so I'll give here one more page as here inside my html I'll give as a css dot html. Okay, and this css.html would be having this is, I'll give here HTML. So we know how we can write our HTML here. Simply exclamation sign and then tab. And here I will mention this is my CSS page, right? Now, if I will give the link over here, href dot forward slash, right? Here we have CSS HTML. And here I'll write CSS. And similarly, I'll make some other links like HTML, CSS, JavaScript, jQuery. So here I'll make as HTML, and here I'll see as a JavaScript.html, and here I'll make as a jQuery, right? So now here we have CSS, this would be HTML, and this would be JS, and this would be jQuery. Okay, right. Now if you see here in the navigation, now if you see, let me just extend it. Here we can see CSS, HTML, JS and jQuery, and whenever we click on CSS it will redirect to the CSS page. See, this is the CSS HTML, this is my CSS page, right? And similarly if we have the page for HTML, JavaScript, jQuery, whatever the things is there, right, we can give the link for all those pages as well, right? Great. So now we have learned about the navigation. Now the further thing which we have, which is image map. Okay, so this is quite important. Once anytime if we have some image, and inside image itself we have some of the part where we want to click and it should goes to the another page, then in that case we have to use the image map, right? So now let's see how we can see the image map. And one more thing here I would like to mention, that if you see this anchor tag is not necessary that we can put inside the navigation. This anchor tag can put anywhere, right? This is the link actually. So here I would like to mention one more thing like link. So this would be the link, and this is the anchor link, right? And here I'll mark it as a go to Google, and here I'll provide this just google.com. Okay, www.google.com, right? Now if you see here, see this link, go to Google. If I just click on Google, it's going to redirect it to the google.com. So it's not going to the google.com because of we have not given https over here. Now let's see once again. So it's going to the courses. It's going to the courses because we have not given the link properly, I believe here. https google.com. Let's try with this here. Let's go back and click on the link. Go to Google. No, still it's pointing to the google.com html. Okay, why it is right? So here we are missing one thing as a target. Okay, we have to define target where it has to open. It has to open in a blank tab, or it has to be open in the parent tab, self, or top, right? So I'll mark it as a blank, so it's going to open in a new tab, blank tab, right? So I hope this should be working fine. Yeah, see, now it's going in a new tab with a blank tab is a google.com, right? So in this way we can give the link for any other sources, any other websites. Okay, so this is how we can give the link. Okay, now let's jump to the image map because image map is quite important. So now let's see. Let me just add one image map here. Image map, and for the image map we have something like image, so I'm going to use my same image. Here we have used it, right? This one, I'm going to use this same image. Right, now let me show you here. See, this is our image, right? And now I want to do something like that, like I want to click on this laptop, it should goes to the laptop.html. If I click on the mobile, then it should goes to the that mobile.html, right? It should goes to that particular link on click of any specific area, right? So we have this laptop area, we have this mobile area, right? So how we can do that, and we can achieve that things by using our image map. So how we can use the image map? Simply we have to apply image map on this image, right? So here we have given our image source for the image, and here we have given alt, right? And now here I'll give one more attribute which is use map. Okay, use map, right? And use map, I'll give a map id. So first of all, let me create a map over here. So here map, simply map, right? And here I'll give the map name as a table map, table underscore map, and I'll give this map name over here inside my image. Okay, simple. Now inside this map we have to define these area, right? This laptop area, this mobile area. So how we can define this laptop area? We have a tag as a area, right? And area we have to shape, we have to define which shape it would be. So here I'm going to define as a poly shape, right? This we can define rectangle, circular, poly. So this would be a poly, right? This is a polygon. So here I'll define as a poly shape, right? And here we have to define the coordinates, right? So this is very important, how we can define the coordinates. This is my image, I have to define all these coordinates, right? So on the basis of that, that area will be selected and it will go to the laptop page, right? So how we can do that? There is an option like okay, I'll come back to the this coordinates. First of all, let me give alt as a computer, right? And define me one more area here as a mobile, right? And this would be also a poly. Okay, now here in href, the source which we will give as a computer.html, computer.html, right? And here I'll give mobile.html, right? And here we will create one computer.html and laptop.html file. So I'll just copy this, control C, right? I'll give this name as a computer.html, and I'll give this name as a laptop.html, sorry, mobile.html, right? And in this mobile I'll write here, this is my mobile page, right? And this is my computer, so this is my computer page, right? Now once I'll click on the laptop, it should goes to the laptop page, right? And once we'll click on the mobile, it should goes to the mobile page. So we have to define the area, right? Coordinates. So how we can define that? So let's go back to our html index page, and here we have to define our coordinates, right? So in order to define our coordinates, how I use it in a very simple way, all we have a ms paint, right? So let's go to the ms paint, right? And I'm going to open the same image what I'm seeing there. So here assets, reveal in the file explorer, here I have my all the assets, right? So assets, and this is my image. Okay, so I'm going to open the same image inside my MS Paint, right? So here I'll open that file, open, right? So it's going to open that image over here. It's quite small. Let's make it a bit bigger, right? Now if you want to just find out the coordinates, you can just see, if I come over here, I can see the coordinate at the very bottom, right? See, if I come here, then if you see here, I'm seeing the coordinate here, right? See, this is my coordinates, okay, for each and every point, right? So if you see here, this, if I click here, and here we have a coordinate as a 30 37, right? So here what I'll do here in my code here, I'll give the coordinate as a 30 37, right? 30 comma 37. Okay, now we have to give another coordinates, which is the this one, right? So here this coordinate is 81 27, right? So this is 81 comma 27, 87, right? 828, it is 28, sorry, it's 81 28, right? Now the next coordinate we have to find it, this coordinate, right? This is the coordinate, right? So this is 94 70, right? So here we will give as a 94 and 70. Okay, now we have to find our another coordinate, which is this coordinate, right? So this is our 145 84, right? Are able to see, right? Here if you see here, 184 82, right? So here we will give 184 82, 184 comma 82, right? Now we'll give our next coordinate, which is this one. Okay, so this one 112 115. Okay, so here 112 comma 115. Okay, now we will see our next coordinate, which is this one, right? This is our 54 95, so it would be our 54 comma 95, right? And again it's going to be close over here, so this would be our 33 43. Okay, so here we will give as a 33 43, right? That's all. Now sorry, here we have comma. Okay, now if we see our page, let's open our page. Yeah, now if you see here, it's not coming, right? Why it's not coming? Because the name which we have given is map name. We have given the name over here, but we have to give as a selector has. Okay, has. Now it should be picking that, right? See, now if you see here, if I just go inside this my laptop, and if as soon as I go outside of my laptop, I am not able to click, right? But if I just go inside my laptop portion anywhere, see, if I just go outside from the laptop, I won't be able to click. But if I go to the laptop, I'm able to click, right? And if I click on this, it is going to my computer page, right? We can do for mobile as well. Here we have for mobile, and here we can define the coordinates for mobile. So I'm just leaving it for you. You can do it from your side. This would be your exercise. Okay, now we are going to move to the another which is very very important, which is something like HTML entities, right? So what is the HTML entities? Let's see. So here I'm going to have it as a HTML entities. Okay, right. So what are the HTML entities? If you have noticed, somewhere we have seen like this at the very bottom in the footer, this site is copyright by this, right? There is a symbol, copyright symbol, right? There's a trademark symbol. There's some pound symbol, currency symbols. All those symbols are nothing. Those are the HTML entities, right? And we have a code for each and every entities, right? So how we can give all those codes? So let me just paste it over here, whatever I have for now. Okay, so now if you see, I have just given all those entity inside my span, because we can see all those entities, right? So see here, this is my less than, this is my greater than, and this is my quote, this is my pound symbol, n symbol, this is my registration symbol, this is my copyright symbol, percentage symbol. So we have a lot of things, right? I'm just showing you some of the important which is there, but you can find all these symbols, and you can add those symbols over there on the page on the basis of your requirement. Okay, and the one more thing that I would like to mention here, if you see this NBSP, this is nothing, this is a blank space. Okay, if you want to add some space here, you can see this is the some space added over here, right? If you want to add more space, you can add this multiple times, right? So here if you can just add, so it's going to be have more space over here. See, now we have more space over here. So if you want to add somewhere a blank space, you can just add it NBSP. Okay, that is the code for blank space. And here if you see, we have a hexadecimal code as well. So if you want to add hexadecimal, you can use the hexadecimal as well, but I prefer to use this one because cent, pound, in all those things can be remember very easily, right? Now let's move to the next thing, which is emojis, right? So now let's see how we can add emojis. So here I'll add one more emojis. Okay, similarly, like HTML entities, we have the code for emoji as well, right? So how we can add those emojis? So if I just add like this, see, this is the code for emojis. Okay, like ampersand, hash, and after that this code is for emoji. If you see here, see, now this is the code for emoji, and emoji is getting printed over here, right? Now let me try with something else here. I'll give the number as a 38. Okay, so it might be showing a different, this is something, yeah, see how it is showing, this is in a different emoji. There are huge, there are number of emojis are there that you can utilize over here, right? And I'll provide the reference from where you can get all those emojis and all those entities all together. Okay, now let's understand about few things now, like what is the block and inline element. This is very important, right? So you need to understand what is the block level element, what is the inline element, because this is going to be used everywhere and you must be knowing that what elements are block level element and what elements are inline element. Okay, so now the next thing is block and inline element. Okay, so first of all, let's understand that what is block element and what is inline element. Okay, so block element is something that are having a by default a line break. Okay, if you add two element, right, so both of the element will be there in a two different line. Okay, they are not going to have the same line. Okay, they are going to have in a two different line. So if they are having the two different line, they are having a by default a break, then that element is a block level element. Okay, and if they are coming in a single line, then those elements are as a inline element. Okay, now let's see how the paragraph which we have is a block level element. Okay, so here if I give as a paragraph 1, para 1, and in the next line if I give as a para 2, right? And if you see here, now I see as a para 1 and para 2 in a two different row, right? They are not coming in a single line. Okay, so these paragraphs are a block level element. Okay, and now what is the inline element? Inline elements are coming in a single line. So if I give as a span, right? And here I'll give the span 1. Okay, and similarly I'll give another one span 2. Okay, now if you see here span, and now you see the differences, both span 1 and span 2 are coming in line in a single line. So these elements are inline element. Okay, and they are having by default, this is the default behavior, they are having the default style, but we can change it in CSS. We can change it, their display can be changed as a block, as display, right, as how we want. Okay, but by default they are having paragraph is having a block element and span is having inline element. Now the question is how we will be identifying that which one is the block element and which one is the inline element, right? So here I have segregated all those elements that you can get it from here. I'll paste it, right? So see, these are all my address, articles, asides, block, canvas, right, div, these all are the block level element. Okay, and like other element we have anchor tag, right, the link one, the abbreviation, right, the break, all those are having their inline element. Okay, if you see here we have the span also. See, this is the span is a inline element. Okay, now further move and understand that how we can add the code block, right? So let's have a code block. Right. Suppose that you want to, and don't worry about this article aside. I'll be covering all those elements shortly because those elements are in a specific category, semantic, right? So once I'll cover the semantic and non-semantic elements, then I'll cover all those topics. Okay. Right. So now how we can add the code block. So code block is something that if you want to add some code, right, if you want to add some code in your on your HTML page, then you have to use the code block. So there is a block as a like code, okay, right? And this is my code block, and inside this I can write anything, any expression like x plus y equal to 2, right? And then we can use a break tag, break, right? And then after that we can use 2 plus 3 equal to 5, something like that, right? 2 plus 3 equal to 5, right? And if you see here how this is going to be look like, see, this look like a code has been written on HTML page, right? So this is the code block. If we specifically want to add some code on the pages, so we can use our code block, right? Now come to the very important thing, that is semantic and non-semantic tag, right? Which I told you earlier, right? Here we have something we are seeing, that article, aside, these all are the semantic tag, okay? So we need to understand this, and mostly in the interviews, interviewer are asking like, what is the semantic tag, non-semantic tag, what is the block level code, what is the inline level element and block level element. So we need to know all those things, right? So we have to cover over here. So now let's have our semantic and non-semantic elements. So here we have semantic and non-semantic, okay, elements. So how we can define our semantic and non-semantic elements? So semantic element, something is which described itself, okay? We know that what all the contents that we are going to put inside that element, it's already predefined, right? So that is known as a semantic. And if we don't know that what content we are going to put inside that element, that is known as a non-semantic element, okay? So see here, now we have article, right? Article is something like that we use to put some article there, right? So this is article. Aside is something being used for the navigation, left side, right side, so we use for that aside, right? We have block code. We know that we are going to put something inside the code, right? And here, like similarly, we have footer, we have header, all those kind of things are, see here we have header. See this h1 to h6, we know that we are going to provide some heading over there, right? These elements are describing by itself, okay? By their name they can describe what the content we are going to put inside. And if you see this para is also semantic elements, because we know that what kind of elements that we are going to put it. So most of the elements are semantic. Some of the non-semantic elements, which is div and span, right? So let me just put it over here, all those semantic and non-semantic elements. So now here, if you see, these all article, aside, details, captions, figure, footer, header, all these elements are semantic element, okay? We know that what all the contents we are going to put inside. In table we are going to just put table, right? We are not going to put some paragraph. In table we would be having some table only. So this is a semantic. And in div there is a div, right? This is a div is something like container, okay? And this is going to contain any content, okay? We don't know like what in div we can have article, in div we can have asides, right? In div we can have table also, right? So this div, we don't know what kind of content we are going to have. This is a non-semantic element. And the span also, we don't know like what the things that we are going to have inside span, right? Inside span we can have a label, inside span we can have a navigation also, right? So span and div, these two are non-semantic elements, and and other are semantic elements. Got it? Great. So I think that so far you are learning very good, and mostly we have covered a lot of elements so far. Now let's further move and understand that what is meta tag, okay? Right? So now let's have our meta tag here. I'll put meta. So basically meta tag is a part of header. So far whatever the element that we have learned is part of body, but now meta is part of header. So let's move to our header, because now as of now we are in body. So let's move to the header, right? See here, this is our header, right? So just minimize this complete body. Now we will discuss about the header. So we know that header we have title, right? If you see that where this title goes, if you see here, title is coming over here. See, this is the document, right? Here mentioned. So this title is going to the header, right? So if I just change it here, I'll just change it as a HTML learning, okay? So now if you see here, this title is being changed as a HTML learning, right? So whatever the title that we want to give it over here, we have to give inside the title tag under header, right? Now talk to the meta. So basically meta is something like once we have our websites running on mobile. Earlier we were just running on the computer only, right? But now we are running our websites on mobile as well, right? So it should be compatible with our mobile. So in order to have that, we have defined a viewport, and that viewport is being defined inside our meta. So inside meta tag we have to add something like this, like meta, and then we have to provide this viewport. Okay, this viewport is going to make the your website compatible with computer as well as mobile both, right? And here we have to give as a content width equal to device width. Okay, whatever the device width is there, it's going to be assigned that width completely to the viewport, and initial scale is 1.0. It's initial scaled at 1. Okay, right? Now this would be compatible with the mobile. Now the next thing also we need to understand that if you see this here, we have a logo. Most of the websites are having an icon over here, right? So how we can see, like here we have Google, right? See this, we have a Google icon. So how we can add those icons? We can add those icons by using our link tag inside our header. So how we can do that? Let me just add it here, right? So see, this is my link tag, right? And here I have given as a relation with icon, and here href we have given path as a favicon.ico, and type we have given is a image x icon. Okay, because we are here we are using ICO, and this ICO is nothing, this is a icon extension. So I'll just use one icon file here, favicon.ico. Let me put inside our assets. Now we have the favicon. So this is something like favicon I have for HTML. If you want to create your own favicon, then you can just go to the Google and find out something like generate favicon, okay, online. So here you will be finding a lot of resources, like you can generate it by this one, right? So here you'll find a lot of things that you can generate your icon online, right? But most of the companies are having their own designer, and those designers are generating the favicons for them. Okay, right? Now let me just add it over here and index.html, right? So now this is being added, assets favicon.ico, right? So now let's save it and refresh this. Yeah, now it was taking from cache, so I did Control Shift R. Now if you see here, see, now it's, we can see our icon over here, right? Great. And we can add some more tags are here, like script tag, that we can add our JavaScript file. We can add our CSS file, that I'll tell you later on once I'll have our CSS session and JavaScript session, right? So far we have learned, I think I would say almost most of the tags. Some of the tags are pending, like semantic tag, I told you, like header tag, right? And a site tag, right? Article tag, footer tag, and main tag. These are missing. Why? Because these will come into the layout part once we will have our CSS, right? And we will create a proper layout for our website. Then we will cover these elements. Okay. And these are nothing. This is just define layout of the page, right? Here we can define one header, footer, and body as a main, and side link, sidebar as a side, right? So that's the only thing. Okay, so I hope this all those things was getting much clear to you. Now let me just quickly recap everything. Here we have a header, right? Heading tags, and we have 6 type of heading, and the largest one is heading 1, H1, and the smallest one is H6, right? We have a B tag as a line break. We have HR tag as a horizontal line. We can comment like this. Okay, we can comment any line. By paragraph we have P tag, right? Formatted text we have bold as a B, strong, I as italic, EM as emphasized, and mark as a highlight, small as a small text, del as a delete the text, ins insert as a insert text, subscripted, superscripted, right? And here we have code, here we have abbreviation, ABBR, right? And here we have site in order to give some title, right? And here we have video as a bidirectional override to put the text from right to left. And here we have a span where we can give some styling on the span, right? And here we have a list like unordered list, UL, ULLI and ordered list as OLLI, right? And here we have our table, TR, TD, right? And here we have all the input types, checkbox, radio, file type, date, week, month, date time, local, right? And time, color, hidden type element, right? Range and type we have button, submit, reset button, right? And we learned how we can create our form, right? And how we can provide all these elements inside the form, right? We learned about the image img tag. We learned about the iframe, right? Iframe tag. We learned about audio tag, video tag. We learned about the address tag, right? And also we learned about the navigation anchor a tag, right? Inside our now tag, we learned about the link. We learned about the image map, right? And learned about the HTML entities, emojis, and also we learned about the block level and inline level element, right? And we have learned about the code block, and also we learned about what are the semantic and non-semantic elements, what are the meta, right? Meta tags. And also we learned about how we can add the icons, favy icons in our web pages. So I hope that I covered most of the things. And now at the very last, the one important thing that I told you initially in our video, that we would be having understanding that what is difference between HTML and XHTML. Okay, so XHTML is nothing. It's a extended hypertext markup language. This is something strict, right? XHTML is something strict which is not allowing any error while closing or opening tag. Okay, so how we can define the XHTML? So now let me just define one more XHTML file over here. I'll add one more file here as a index1.xhtml. Okay, now see, now here I have to define XHTML. So in order to define our XHTML, I'll give you just some a sample over here. So here, let me show you. In the doc type, we have to define HTML, and after that, we have to give this reference over here, right? Once we will give this reference, then after that, our HTML is going to become as a XHTML, right? And here we have to give our XML namespace. This namespace needs to be given over here for XHTML, and after that, our whole things is going to be same, and it's our HTML is going to become as a XHTML, and this is going to be strict. Okay, if we give any error over here, any kind of closing tag or opening tab, we won't be able to see our page. It's not going to render our page. So now let's see if I just run this page inside our live server. So now see, here we have let me just run this index1.html. Here we have index1.xhtml, right? See, now here we can see our HTML page. So now here this source image, here we have assets, and here we have image.jpg, right? Okay, so now you would be able to see our image over here. See, and now we are able to see our, here I have given a title, here I have given list, right? And some of the link over here. So what will happen if I give something like, suppose that I forgot to give this paragraph, right? Now it's not going to render. See, it's clearly, we can see over here this error we have on line number 16 at column 18, opening and ending tag missing for the paragraph, right? So here we can see that what kind of error we have. Okay, but same thing we cannot see in our index. If suppose that I missed this here, our header tag, I missed it, right? So see here in my HTML, I can't see any error, right? It's allow actually in our HTML5, but not in XHTML. Okay, so I hope that it's been clear to you. So now at the end of this video, we are going to have a quiz. In this quiz, we would be having around 40 questions, and some of the questions where there are multiple choice and some of them are true and false. Okay, so now let's start. So our very first question is, what does HTML stands for? HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language, which I have already selected, right? Now let's move to the next question, which is, what is the correct HTML element for inserting a line break? What is the correct answer over here? Break tag, right? BR tag. This is the correct answer. Now move to the next question. Choose the correct HTML element for largest heading. Which one is used for largest heading? H1 tag, right? H1 tag is used for largest heading. Now let's move to the next tag. What is the correct HTML for making a checkbox, right? So we know that checkbox is a input type equal to checkbox, right? Now let's move to the next question. Choose the correct HTML element to define important text, right? So which one is, for always we have to define an important text we are using strong, right? So correct answer is strong. Now let's move to the next question. Who is making the web standards for HTML, right? So what is the correct answer? W3C, World Wide Web Consortium, right? They are making the standards for HTML. Now let's move to the next question. What is the correct HTML for creating a hyperlink, right? So we know that hyperlink is being created by anchor tag. This is anchor tag, and we have to give anchor and then href, right? Href, and then whatever the link that we want to give, we should give that link, right? So this is the correct answer. Now let's move to the next question. What is the correct HTML for making a text area, right? So text area is always being defined by the text area, right? Not by this input type text area. There is no type of text area, right? We remember that. So now the correct answer is text area. Let's move to the next question. Which character is used to indicate the int tag, right? So int tag is defined by this tag, right? What is the correct HTML for making a text input field, right? So in order to create a text input field, we have a input type equal to text, right? This is the correct answer. How can you open a link in a new tab browser window, right? So we know that we have anchor tag href. We have to pass the URL and target equal to underscore blank. That is going to open a link inside another blank window. Okay, so this is the correct answer. Now let's move to the another one. Which tag is used to make a number list? Number list are always being used by OL, right? Ordered list. What is the correct HTML for inserting an image? In order to insert an image, we have image tag, then source, and then we have to provide the source name and alternate name that we can give it. So this would be the correct answer. What is the correct HTML for making a drop down list, right? So correct HTML is always select. How can you make a bulleted list? Bulleted list, if you want to make, you have to UL, right? Unordered list, right? So this is the correct answer. Which of these elements are all table elements, right? So table, tr and td, these all are table element, because tt and head, this, and here body, right? Because we have t head, t body and t foot, but we don't have anything body, right? So the correct answer is table, tr, td. Now let's move to the next question. Inline element are normally displayed without starting a new line. Is this correct? Inline element are normally displayed without starting a new line. That's true, right? Because block elements are starting with a new line. Now let's move to the another one. Choose the correct HTML element to define emphasize text, right? So to emphasizing any text, we are using the em tag, right? Now let's move to another one. An iframe is used to display a web page within a web page, right? That's correct. We are using iframe to display a web page within a web page, right? So this is true. Now let's move to the next question. HTML comment start with this tag and end with this. Is this correct? Yes, it's true. Now let's move to the next question. Block element are normally displayed without starting a new line. This is false, right? Because block elements are always displayed in a new line. Okay, so this is false. Now let's move to the next question. Which HTML element define the title of the document? Title of the document is being defined by the title, right? Inside our head tag. Which HTML attribute specify an alternate text of an image, right? So we know that this is alt, right? Which doc type is correct for HTML5, right? So in HTML5, we have to define doc type as a HTML. This is the correct answer, right? Which element is used to specify a footer for a document or section? So footer is being defined by the footer, right? So this is the footer. That is the correct answer. Now in HTML, you can embed SVG element directly into the HTML page. Is that correct? Yes, it's correct. You can embed SVG element directly to the HTML page. Which element is used to highlight text, right? So which one is mark, right? Mark is used to highlight a text. HTML is strict language. Is this true or false? No, it's false, right? Because XHTML is strict, right? What is the correct HTML for playing video files? So video file element is video, right? Which element is used to select value from drop down list? Which is select. That is the correct answer. Which is the correct HTML for playing audio files? Audio tag, right? Audio element is used to playing the audio files. That is the correct answer. Which input define a slider control, right? So range is the input type which define a slider control. That's the correct answer. Now, which element is used to display a scalar measurement within a range? That is the meter one, right? Meter element we use to have a scalar measurement within a range. That is the correct answer. HR is used to create a horizontal line. That's true, right? H1 is the biggest heading. That's true. Div is a block level element. That's true. Which element define navigation link? Now is used to define a navigation link. BR is used to create a line break. That's true. H7 is the smallest heading. There is no H7. H6 is the smallest heading. So that is false. Button type equal to submit is used to submit the form. Is this true? Yes, it's true. Now we have done all the 40 questions and I hope this would be helpful for you, right? So that's the wrap up of our HTML basic and we covered most of the elements that from the foundation of every web page, right? And now you can start building your own web pages with the confidence. And remember that the best way to learn HTML is to practice. Experiment with the different tags, create some sample pages, and don't be afraid to be make mistakes, right? Because once you do the mistake, you will learn. Okay, it's all the part of your learning process. And if you enjoyed this video and found it is helpful, please hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe for more content like this. We are just getting started with web development and I'll be covering more advanced topic in our upcoming videos. And still you are having any doubts, any things, write me below in the comment section. I'll try to get back to you as soon as possible. In our next video, we will dive into CSS and learn how we can style those HTML elements and make your web page looks amazing. Okay, so that's all for the day. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you in my next video. Till then, take care and keep learning.